follow through in bowling is one of the most important things you do. And PBA Hall of Famer Johnny Petraglia is with us to tell us how follow-throughs can relate not just to bowling, but also other sports, right?
Right. Well, all sports, Lucas, are the same. And the one thing that happens in all sports, whether it's horizontal or vertical, the elbow doesn't break until it passes the shoulder. And that's in every sport that people do. So if you're watching a baseball player or a softball player, when the pitch comes in and they get here and they make contact with the ball, the arms stay straight, the elbows stay straight until they get to here, and then they finish. The golfer does the same thing. They hit the golf ball until they get to here, and then they finish. And it doesn't matter what sport it is that happens. So bowling is the same thing. When you follow through, you have to follow through. That arm's supposed to stay straight till it gets to the shoulder, and then it can break. Now, if you don't want it to break, that's okay. But if you're going to break, it has to get to the shoulder and in the direction of your target. So as I let the ball go, it must get that high. Want me to throw another one? Yeah. So sort of rush that? Yeah.
So the traffic on the left side of the lane is a lot different than it is on the right side of the lane. And we brought in one of the best left-handed bowlers of all time, PBA Hall of Famer Johnny Petraglia, to tell us why the moves are a little different on the left side and how to manage those and stay in your zone. Johnny, what advice do you have for left-handers out there?
Well, what happens a lot of times in tournaments is that on the right side, the right-handers are moving in relation to the track. So you see them moving side to side a lot, and how to catch the track later and later and later. On the left side of the lane, there's usually a zone that you have to play in. There is no track. So where a right-hander would move, say, 4 and 2 or 6 and 3, as they're moving in, the left-hander has to stay in that zone. He can't go into a different zone. So by moving, say, only 1 or 2 boards with your feet and moving your eyes down lane as the lanes break down, will give you about the same hook ratio as the righty moving side to side. If the oil is carrying down and you got to go further out, you can do the same thing the other way. But you know there's that 3 or 4 board zone that you have to stay in, and you're trying to figure out a way to stay in that zone before you change bowling balls. Then the bowling balls, if nothing else is working physically, then you change balls. I hit 14. Okay, got the ball a little bit wide, broke a little bit late. It's a half 7. So now, all I'm going to do is move 1 and 0 and bring my eyes in a little bit. A little bit better, but I can still pinch a little bit more over. One other thing is when you're bowling a tournament, you might almost the first game, if you're a left-hander, try playing 7-pin no-tap and let the lanes blend out so you know exactly what the shot's going to be, rather than they're on the absolute fresh and they're boomeranging in the back and then settling down. So by the 7th or 8th frame, gives you a much truer picture of what the
Hall of Famer Johnny Petraglia, and he's going to tell us a few tips here on how to properly put tape in the thumb hole. It's really important to get tape in the ball right, Johnny?
It is. It's very, very important. That thumb has got to stay straight. In a little while, I'll be going from here down to southern Florida, where it's going to be 85 degrees. So I might have as much as 7 or 8 pieces of tape in my thumb here because my thumb has shrunk so much. So to put the tape in the proper way, you have to staircase it down inside the hole so that you can take out 1 piece at a time. You don't put 1 piece right on top of the other, and when you have to take it out, you have to take the entire thing out. You can actually see, I'll try to give you a little more light, how it staggers from the top going all the way down. And I'm going to have to put in 1 more piece of tape. Usually I either have an insert or I use my scissor, and I get the tape to the point where I can get all the way down. and just take my time until I see it go past that last piece, and then I just put it down with my finger so that I can now take out one piece at a time as it's coming back up. It's staying the right size, and the bottom of the hole is starting to get a little bit smaller, which makes it better and better and better that you don't knuckle inside, which makes you grab the ball. Once you get that piece of tape down by the bottom that it's a little bit snug, the only way you can get out of the ball is to keep that thumb straight and make you clear the ball better.
These days, and because of that, we like to record our bowling games. But Johnny Petraglia, PBA Hall of Famer, is here to tell us that there's a right way and a wrong way to record yourself when you're bowling, or better yet, have a buddy record you when you're bowling.
That's very true. Great way to put it, Lucas. It's really nice to have the buddy system. And what you want to do is have somebody get behind you, directly behind you when they're filming you. And what you're trying to accomplish when they see you film is that as close as possible as you can, when you're aiming from directly behind, they shouldn't be able to see the ball. When you start your approach, they shouldn't be able to see the ball until it gets to the bottom. The third part would be if you're looking at the backswing, the ball should have the head disappear for a split second. That's how you know that your swing is right on line. And if your backswing isn't that high, just draw a straight line down and make sure it's in line with the head. The next to last step should be within a board of the slide step, and that's when that follow through that we had already talked about will come into play. The elbow as high as the shoulder in the direction of the target. And if you would like, I could demonstrate a shot to see if I get close to what I just said. Okay. Now, here's the proper way to record the shot. Lucas is going to film me from directly behind.
So now you have your video on your phone from directly behind, which offers you a better opportunity to analyze your game. And Johnny, it's good to keep that video for down the road, right?
Yes, in fact, on your cell phone, it'll always give you the date. So you can check the date with yourself or your students as time goes by and say, here you were on February the 1st, 2019, and say 2 months from now, here you are in April. And this is your progress and how you're making out. And you can track your progress that way as you trend toward trying to bowl as fundamentally sound as you can.
And send us your videos on social media at Flow Bowling on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram so we can see how you look from behind the lanes.